Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Thursday, May 11th, 2023, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Eve. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is Tim Geddes.
There's something going around the studio right now where we're all just stumbling and jumbling on our words because I forgot what Barrett just said leading us into this. He's like,
Fuck
like a
10
fuck 10
in the
or
news.
something. Oh yeah, he was gonna say we're gonna make a fuck ton of good content today, but he was like, fuck 10.
10 content. Tim, how you doing?
I'm doing great. May 11th, Alfredo Diaz's birthday. Everyone go send some sweet, nasty love to Alfredo Plays on Twitter, my brother from another mother. Bless, I'm doing great on this Zelda Eve. Last night, beat Jedi Survivor. Just in time to get lost in Hyrule. Extremely excited about this. During our review of Jedi Survivor, Greg was the lead reviewer, so he was the one that actually gave the score and stuff. I had only played about half at that point, and I was saying, so far, I would have given it a 5. And I was like, I can't imagine not giving it a 5 by the end of the day. Now that I'm done, I stand by that 5 through and through. Excellent video game. I can't wait for you to get back to it at some point in the year. And more than that, congratulations on being here on the other side. You've beaten Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. You are one of the elite out there. All right.
It feels so good. It feels so great. It's fun on multiple levels. I get to play this game that I've been very excited for a very long time.
Without paying $1,200.
Without paying $1,200. No, yeah, I get to play it as part of my job, which is awesome. Which also meant that I got to come to you and Greg and be like, hey, can I stay home for like these days so I can play the game? And it was honestly, it mainly came from a place of me calling into work sick and being like, hey, I want to take these days off, like many people out there probably are going to do because they want to stay home and play this game. But it was also, hey, like I want to have the time to like play this game and review it and all that stuff. And now that we're here, I'm so glad I did that, because if I didn't do that, I would not have this game done. This game is fucking huge.
Big game.
Big ass game.
One big game.
It's a big old game. And so yeah, it was super fun to do it on that level. It was very fun to do it. And also, like, you know, have to be secretive about it because that is our jobs, right? We have embargoes that we have to adhere to. We have things that we can and can't talk about. And so, like, when we're like talking about Jedi Survivor, and I'm like, yeah, I've played halfway, and I'll get back to it later, and people being like, yeah, let's go back to it now. And I'm like, I don't know if I have time. I don't know if I can get back to it now. I got shit to do. It's nice to actually be able to talk about Zelda because I have so much to talk about. And so it's been awesome looking online, seeing the embargo lift, and reading and hearing other people's reviews and seeing like their perspectives on similar things, right? Where it is like I watched a lot of Skill Ups things. I fucking love watching Skill Ups videos, and like I'm halfway through his review, and so many of the things he says, I'm like nodding along, like yeah, like dude, I agree 1000%. And it feels like I'm having that conversation with him. But yeah, we're here. Zelda's a day away. How excited are you now?
Dude, I'm real excited. Now that I have Survivor done, like I feel like a weight's been lifted, and I'm like, and on top of that, there's a new raid coming in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'm pre-prepped for it, so like I don't even need to worry. That shit's dropping at 4 p.m. today. I'll get that shit done by the time Zelda drops. You know what I mean?
How does it feel to be gaming nonstop? Because you're going from Jedi Survivor into Pokemon, into Zelda, and then the games just don't stop coming.
They just don't stop coming, man.
Final Fantasy coming next month.
So the thing is, yeah, we got Zelda. I'm gonna play that. Like I've come to terms with the fact that I'm not gonna beat Zelda imminently.
No,
I'm gonna play it over time. I'm probably gonna play the hell out of it. I'm going to play the hell out of it this weekend. But then after that, I do kind of see a trickling of some of the smaller things I want to dabble with. Street Fighter 6 being the biggest one. And then there's this game Planet of Lana coming out that looks really cool. And then those are the ones I'm really looking forward to. Diablo, I think, is going to have to wait for me to dabble with it if I even have the time at some point later in the year. But then, yeah, Final Fantasy 16. Like, that's the thing. I need to get as much Zelda as I can in now before that comes out. Because that's the one that I'm like, all right, I'm going to pivot over to this.
I think we're in a decent place time-wise with that, because that was one of the things I was thinking about during my review. I had 2 weeks to play it for the embargo, and I got in 70 hours. But even with those 70 hours, I could have put a lot more in there before I actually finished the game. You know, I'm still playing the game now, right? After rolling credits, I'm continuing on searching through the open world, still finding a bunch of new and exciting things. I could have easily played 100 hours before I rolled credits, and it's fun coming into it now where the game's coming out for everybody, and I know that this is gonna be a conversation for the next month straight at the very least. And yeah, like you're going to need all the time in the world to devour this thing and hang out in this thing. And it's coming out at a decent time because there's a lot of games coming out, but it's not like Final Fantasy is coming out tomorrow.
Exactly. I think the biggest problem is Summer Game Fest in between all this too. Y'all, we are about to have a great time.
Don't forget Lego 2K Drive.
And Lego 2K Drive.
So I was thinking about that yesterday. I was like, man, I can boot up FIFA right now, but FIFA keeps crashing on me for some reason. I could play more Zelda, but really what I want is Lego 2K Drive.
I love you, Bless.
We got a week.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, and it's wild to think that we have a major Game of the Year contender coming out tomorrow, and then another Game of the Year contender coming out next week.
Next week with Lego 2K Drive.
Yeah.
Oh, man, what a month to be alive.
Yeah, I know. It's a good month.
Tim, enough about all that.
Enough about that.
Let's talk about today's stories, which included Zelda review roundup, more reports about the new Mortal Kombat, and more, because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames and twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindafunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames, or you can listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kinda Funny Games Daily. Remember, you can use Epic Creator Code Kinda Funny on all Epic Store and Epic in-game purchases like Rocket League and Fortnite to help support the channel. To be a part of the show, head to kindafunny.com/KFGD to get your questions read on the show. And remember, patreon.com/KindaFunny will get you the show ad-free, plus a bevy of bonus content. Housekeeping for you. Our Kinda Funny Gamescast review of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is up right now on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames. Of course, I got to play it. I played over 70 hours of it. I talk all about those 70 hours on this episode of Gamescast. But of course, our Zelda conversation is going to be ongoing as more of us pick it up over the coming weeks. And so tune into Gamescast all throughout the month and all throughout the months and the year for more and more game reviews and more impressions on Zelda, Final Fantasy, etc.
Exactly. And dude, shout out to our set. It looks so good for this episode. And shout out to you for absolutely crushing it. It's hard to be the only person that can speak on something and have 3 other people asking you questions. You did a fantastic job with this piece of content.
Thank you, man.
An hour of incredible blessing talking about Zelda content. I knew I was going to have my moment today.
There it is.
I knew I was going to have my moment.
That's the trifle of us.
Exactly. That's us. But yeah, check it out because it was an incredible episode.
And then remember, and also, I know we got a lot of complaints about the podcast feed and how the wrong thing went up. I believe that is fixed.
It is fixed. It is fixed. If you go, you will see there'll be the proper Zelda on the Gamescast feed for audio listeners.
And then only on YouTube in the live stream, there's going to be a 30-minute post show where Snow Mike comes in to talk to us KHD hosts about your super chat questions. Stay tuned after today's handshake to hang out with us before the next Kinda Funny stream starts. And that Kinda Funny stream is going to be me playing the first 30 minutes of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So come through, hang out. It's also going to be a Q&A. And so if you have any questions about Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, come through, be in chat, ask us questions. I'll answer the questions to the fullest extent that I can without trying to spoil the game for you guys. And we'll have a good time. And then over on Patreon, there is a new Remember Blank all about our favorite Zelda games. Thank you to our Patreon producer, Delaney Twining. Today we're brought to you by Shady Rays, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 5 stories today.
Baker's Dozen!
What's up, Tim?
Nothing. I was just pulling up the 5.
Oh, I thought you were raising your hand. I thought you had something to say about Zelda.
No, there's a lot to say about Zelda.
There is a lot
I want to
to
hear
say
you
about
tell
Zelda.
me about Zelda. Read other people's words to be blessed.
Let's go. So story number 1, of course, I got a Zelda Tears of the Kingdom review roundup for you right now on Metacritic. It is sitting at a 96.
Damn, that's it. What a failure.
What a failure.
Send it home, Nintendo.
Get them numbers up. And then on OpenCritic, it is also sitting at a 97. I'm going to start off with Tom Marks at IGN, one of my favorite people there at IGN. Sorry, Stella, who gave it a 10 out of 10 and says, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is an unfathomable follow-up to one of the greatest games ever made, somehow improving upon it in nearly every way. Be that with simple quality of life improvements, a genuinely exciting story, or wildly creative new building mechanics that make you rethink what is possible. It both revamps old ground and introduces vast new areas so immense it somehow makes me wonder if Breath of the Wild was actually all that big, with an almost alarming number of tasks to complete, mysteries to discover, and delightful distractions to keep you from ever reaching that place you naively thought you were headed. Nintendo has followed up a triumph with a triumph, expanding and evolving a world that already felt full beyond expectation and raising the bar ever higher into the clouds. Then Steve Watts at GameSpot also gave it a 10 out of 10 and says, When I think of the Legend of Zelda series, I've always thought about transcendent mythic moments, pulling the Master Sword from the pedestal in A Link to the Past, waking the Windfish in Link's Awakening, the 3 major characters representing the aspects of the Triforce and Ocarina of Time. Tears of the Kingdom has a moment that matches each of those, and I felt the scope and power of it so strongly that I shed my own tears.
Don't tell me that.
As much as I loved each of those pieces in Zelda's past, I'm not sure it's ever evoked that level of emotion from me before. And this is where I come back to, reading other reviews and listening to other people's videos on it. I pulled that excerpt specifically because I felt that exact thing of, man, like, this is a moment that's going to stick with me in terms of big Zelda moments. Like, this feels like it lives up to the name of The Legend of Zelda. I feel like I am playing a legend right now in some of these moments.
I have not been more hyped for this game until this statement.
Yeah.
Like, I've been hyped.
It's accurate.
This is the thing where I'm like, uh-oh.
It is accurate, dude. And then I go on to Kyle Hilliard at Game Informer, who gave it a 9.75 out of 10 and said, nearly every encounter, whether puzzle, traversal, or combat, must be reconsidered. It makes you think in new ways. I didn't get the same goosebumps exploring Hyrule as I did in the past, but I did experience new emotions, both on a granular level from solving individual puzzles and on a larger level by going back to one of my favorite video game locations. They say you can never go home again, but I adored returning to Hyrule with all new tools. Tim, what a high Metacritic, what high praise from multiple outlets. What does that do for you?
I mean, it does everything, right? This is what we kind of expected, and just because we expect it doesn't mean it's going to hit the mark, especially in this day and age where we're seeing buggy release after buggy release, and even some of the biggest, most ambitious titles kind of buckling underneath that hype with things like Cyberpunk. The expectation's high for a sequel to a game with the prestige that Breath of the Wild has, and we've seen it recently with things like The Last of Us and with things like God of War, that the sequel can come out and stand toe-to-toe with the predecessor, and for the sequel to get the same, if not better, reviews than the first means so much, because it means that despite it not being a completely fresh experience, it still does enough new things, or it still does enough right that it is getting tens from everywhere. Like, that is the highest score these sites can give, and nearly across the board, it's getting tens. And the lowest review you read here was a 9.75 from Game Informer. Like, that is wild, and all the words backing up those numbers really explain what makes this special, right? We've talked for years about Breath of the Wild and what it means to us. And yesterday, the GQ top 100 games list coming out, and that Breath of the Wild being number one on that list, right?
Is that list already irrelevant, Bless?
Who knows?
Well, that's one of
the clips that came out. It's so hard to say, right? Like, Breath of the Wild, for me, when I submitted my own list to GQ as they were gathering different critics' lists, Breath of the Wild is my number one game on that list. And Tears of the Kingdom, I mentioned this during the review, right? It feels like it's amping every single thing up. One of the things I tweeted out this morning as I was approaching the Gamescast review, I kept throwing around different ways I wanted to talk about Zelda Tears of the Kingdom in my mind. And one of the ones that I didn't use, but I wanted to make a reference to was, back in the day when I was a kid, I fucking loved the Dragon Ball Z Budokai games. And Budokai's 1, 2, and 3 were such special games to me. I couldn't wait to get the next one, right? I played the hell out of those games. And then after Budokai 3 came out, about a year or two later, they announced Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi, Tim. It was the next level. It was the next step. It was going from 2D to 3D, right? And I saw the screenshots, and I was like, wow, this looks incredible. And then the game comes out, and I look at the box, and on the back of the box, it says, everything else was just training. And I saw that as a kid, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is a new level. I can't believe what I'm about to play right now, right? And, I played it. It was just Tenkaichi, right? It was just more of what I loved.
Hype, though.
But the hype was there, and that was a phrase that kept ringing through my mind as I was playing Tears of the Kingdom, where Tears of the Kingdom in so many ways makes Breath of the Wild feel like practice for making Tears of the Kingdom, right? Like, it is, Breath of the Wild set the groundwork for the systems, for the climbing stuff, for that feeling of exploration and discovery, for what the combat is, for, how all these different elements work, right? Breath of the Wild created all these tools. Tears of the Kingdom feels like they are taking those tools and pushing them as far as they can go in terms of, all right, we got this, now let's let them fuse and create their own tools if they want to. Let's give them instead of the freeze time ability, let's give them the ability to rewind time. Let's create even more space that they can explore with the Sky Islands and with more caves and all this stuff, right? How do we further everything? Let's give them a story that feels a bit more expansive and a bit more engaging and more epic. Tears of the Kingdom pushes all that stuff forward in a way where it's hard for me to make the argument that Tears of the Kingdom isn't better than Breath of the Wild. Yeah. I think for me, the only thing that keeps Breath of the Wild there is special for me is the fact that Breath of the Wild did a lot of that shit first, right? In terms of the physics and climbing and all that special stuff that makes it what it is. But yeah, like they're in both of them are games that have gotten tens across the board from all these different outlets. Both of them are sitting around that same place on Metacritic. Both these games are super special, and yeah, like I would love to see how this GQ list looks like, let's say a year from now if they do it again, and where Tears of the Kingdom sits versus Breath of the Wild on that top 100 games list.
Yeah, man, what a special time, Bless, that we're here. Like, you reviewed a game professionally that is going to go down in history as one of the greatest games of all time.
Yeah,
that's pretty wild, right?
It's pretty wild, especially when I look back at Breath of the Wild and what that did for me in 2017. Because 2017, that's when I was still doing OK Beast. I was like maybe a year. Yeah, I was like a year into OK Beast, and Breath of the Wild was the game that made me go, all right, let me sit down and figure out how to do a video review that feels full and expansive. And that was like my first like full, I'm going to review the heck out of this thing. And I made a 10-minute video that it was my Zelda Breath of the Wild review, and that was a landmark moment with me. And OKBC, we also made a podcast called Breath of the Wild, and like that like kind of helped define what that site looked like for us, and how like that lit a fire under us in terms of, all right, like we got something going here. Let's keep making dope content. Let's keep talking about how special games are to us, because Breath of the Wild was one that was so special to us. And yeah, like 6 years later, I get to review Zelda Tears of the Kingdom for Kinda Funny, and it feels,
I love it.
It feels so full circle in that way.
Yeah, and you gave it a perfect score for us, man. And
yeah.
and here we are talking about with all these 10s. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Barrett, you being the Zelda guy here, like, are you just freaking about to pop?
It still doesn't feel real to me, is the thing. It feels like the first teaser where it was called the untitled sequel to Breath of the Wild. It still feels like that day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so weird, especially with like kind of like going back. I've been like doing like a tweet thread for the last 11 days, like talking about like essentially the games that I reviewed and ranked for in review, and just like how wild it is that that was 3 years ago, and like talking about Tears of the Kingdom even back then, and like even after listening to Blessing talk about it a lot, and also watching reviews, like I don't feel like this game is real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't like. I fully expect y'all are not going to see me for the next month.
Yeah. Yeah. That's.
So.
I can't wait to see what the vibes are like around this office for the next month. If people are just gonna be playing this in silence at their desks and only talking about Zelda for the next month. I want to bring in a question from Jim. Of course, you can write in to kindafunny.com/KFGD to get your questions read on the show. Jim writes in and says, "Hello, KFGD. Happy Tears of the Kingdom Day. Question. It seems like Tears of the Kingdom recycles maps and enemies and content, which is cool. However, games like Far Cry Primal and Destiny 2 were criticized for it. How come Tears of the Kingdom is getting a pass for the same thing?" And I appreciate this question on the level of, I talked about this a little bit in the review, where in like the first 5 to 10 hours of me playing Tears of the Kingdom, I was curious on how that was going to hit people, because that's one of the first things I did notice. You know, you get to the surface Hyrule world and you run around, and it's, oh yeah, this is the same Hyrule. Like, this is pretty much the same map for the most part. There are changes. There are new, like I talked about, there's new caves. There's new things happening. Of course, there's all the Sky Islands they can go explore as well. There's a lot of additional content. And for me, I think it comes back to, I think it was Gene Park on Twitter talking about how this new Zelda game is basically Yakuza, where in Yakuza, you're coming back to the same Kamurocho, and you know, you are getting the new stories of the area. You're getting to talk to the same characters again, but you're getting a story pushed forward, right? Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, for me, only works because it is a sequel. Like, this game does a thing that I feel like so few games do, that only video games can do, which is familiarize you with a place in the first installment and go, hey, this is the world. And then in the second installment go, hey, this is that same world, but all new stories all over the place. Go re-experience it in a brand new way. That, for me, is such a special thing that we don't get a lot of in video games in this way.
You know, you talking about it on the review made me realize how similar this sounds to Pokemon Gold and Silver compared to Red and Blue, which Gold and Silver, my Gen 2, my favorite generation of Pokemon games, for this very reason. It's like all the Pokemon games are connected in some way on like the timeline and how like, in the world, but Gold and Silver was a direct sequel that was 3 years after Red and Blue, and going back to Kanto at the end of it, it's that same thing of like, you go to the familiar cities, but like familiar characters are there, different people are in the Elite Four, things have happened, things have shifted. And like, I remember being 10 years old and being like, this is the coolest thing imaginable, because unlike TV and movies and stuff, you're in control of it and you are exploring, and it feels not just like, oh, this world has continued to live as you were away from it. You being back in it allows you to kind of find every single way it has changed and evolved. And you kind of like, it helps you fill in even more gaps than they even give you. And I feel like with Breath of the Wild, like it's been the perfect amount of time since I played that game that seeing Hyrule for the first time, I feel like I'm going to be nostalgic for it, you know? And like we talked about Metal Gear Solid 4 a lot of some of the moments in that game of bringing you back to previous games. And you're like, holy crap, seeing how things have changed. Like that's a special feeling that just being somewhere you've been before isn't necessarily special, but being somewhere you've been before that you fell in love with, you know, like, and that added element to this whole game. Like, I feel like that's really, that to me, I think could be the difference between something like a Far Cry or a Destiny, potentially, of like, were people in love with the elements and the locations and the things there? Maybe some people are. And in that case, I'm sure that playing Primal and Destiny 2 is super rewarding.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think also there are so many ways in which the game is able to subvert expectations because it is a lot of the same places that you know the regions, you know where Death Mountain is, you know where Gerudo Valley is, you know where Zura's domain is. What are the things that the game can do to like flip that on its head to where you think you're doing something that you're familiar with and then you get there and it's like, oh shit, what's happening here, right? Like there were moments where I had that with music cues where I got to a location, expected certain music to play, and then a different version of that same song hit, and I'm like, what the fuck? This is such a cool version of the song to reflect what's going on here in this moment on this map. For me, following up on that same map from Zelda to Breath of the Wild actually made it more special than if they were to like just throw me into a different remix to Hyrule or like a different map entirely. And then also, there's so much additional things here, right, in terms of places to explore and places to go. It's not just you hanging out in the same Hyrule. I talk about it in the review, I think in the TikTok, which, Bear, I might have you bring up the TikTok too, because I meant to do that. But, you know, I talked about how you can think about how big you think this game is and multiply it by about 2, right? There is so much more that they've added on top of what is just the service world. There's so much to the Sky Islands. There's so much to new areas that open up in the world that is bringing that newness that you want. And so you are getting the same stuff subverted, and then you are also getting new content that is exciting to explore. But yeah, I guess Barrett, if we can have that queued up, if you have it, the TikTok.
Tears of the Kingdom is finally here. You've beaten it. Tell me all about it.
I'm giving this game a 5 out of 5 on the Kinda Funny scale. That means it's amazing. And let me tell you, if you love Breath of the Wild, you got a lot to look forward here in Tears of the Kingdom. This world, this map, think about how big you think this game is, multiply that by 2. Story-wise, I am way more engaged this time around. I am way more into the characters. The abilities are more complex and have a lot more going on. You don't have the abilities that you had in the last game. A lot of the systems are built around fusing and crafting, and so you're creating vehicles, you're creating different kinds of weapons, and all the puzzles revolve around that. There's a lot more creativity in that. I felt like I had unlimited potential in the ways that I was playing this game. It's really fantastic. It's easily the best open world game you've played since Elden Ring.
Tears of the Kingdom is finally here.
So,
You've
big
beaten
words,
it.
plus.
Tell me all about
Big
it.
words, but I stand by them, and I'm pretty confident in them.
Can I ask you a question here?
What up?
So Easy Layup in the chat said Tim hasn't even played this game yet, and I would bet my car that it's going to be his game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so sure. For as
Spider-Man
hype,
2, man.
The Spider-Man 2, I really surprisingly loved Survivor. Like at the end of the day, like in the thing of like it's going to be tough for that one to be beat. I do think that something like Zelda has the potential, but from talking to you, it sounds like the crafting, the how big this game is. There's a lot of things that don't sound like a Tim Getty special, and like I feel like the game's gonna really need to win me over to be like, you know what, Tim, all this crafting, how open this is, how many things there are to do that aren't the main story, are going to be worth it in pulling me in.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that? Like, do you think that this is going to turn off a lot of people like me?
You love Breath of the Wild, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's enough here that invokes Breath of the Wild and how special that game was that I think you will be invited in. I think you will. I think you'll grow to enjoy the crafting stuff because it does go heavy into the crafting, the fusing, the elements that feel like it's turning it into more of a survival game. But it is backing that up with content and puzzles and stuff to engage with as well. And so, like, for every system they introduce in terms of, oh man, yeah, like make a boat so you can get across this pond, they are giving you interesting ways to do that stuff that are really fun and worthwhile. This is a game that I'll still say, like, if you're somebody that didn't like Breath of the Wild, you probably won't like this game, right? Like, there was a 6 out of 10 review that I read from, I think it was Gfinity, and I read through that review and I was like, hey, they make a good argument for why they didn't love this game as much for people who maybe didn't enjoy a lot of the new elements of Zelda from Breath of the Wild. And I think that's a valid place to come from. And I think if you're somebody who you don't like this new form of Zelda, or if you're somebody who's really averse to survival systems and fusing systems and trying and like having to be very tinkery in your gameplay experience, I can see how that could be a turnoff. And yeah, I don't think it's an automatic slam dunk that this is going to be a Tim Geddes game of the year or even like a Greg Miller game of the year. I don't think it's a complete slam dunk because it is a very strong year for video games. But I think
slam dunk is a blessing game of the year.
Oh, it's a slam dunk that is going to be my game of the year. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so hard to think of anything else that would come through. Like it would either have to
chills.
be.
You gave me chills again.
It would have to be Starfield is such a surprise that we didn't see coming, or Armored Core is such a surprise in terms of this is such a fun game. I can't think of anything else. Like I as much as I love Spider-Man, I don't think Spider-Man's gonna be able to crack this if it is more of what we know of Spider-Man. Maybe Final Fantasy 16, but even that one has like a lot to live up to. As much as I love Final Fantasy 7 Remake, right, and I like that kind of game, again, you gotta bring the stuff because Zelda just brought the stuff with this game.
Yeah.
But I am excited and curious to see like how you receive it. I think regardless, I think you're going to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna be a slam dunk for your game of the year, but you are going to love this game.
Hell yeah, man. Oh, let's go.
Speaking of games that we love, story number 2, Mortal Kombat 1 is a reboot with a full reveal and launch date imminent. This is a report that comes from Alexander Cope at Windows Central. On May 10th, 2023, Ed Boon, the co-creator of the long-running Mortal Kombat franchise and chief creator officer for NetherRealm Studios, uploaded a mysterious video on his Twitter account with the hashtag Mortal Kombat. It shows a clock moving forward in time, stopping at 11 before skipping to 1, as in 1 o'clock. Tim, did you see this video?
I did. It's pretty freaking hype, man.
It's really
hype. I'm all about this bless. This is like exactly what I would have wanted from Mortal Kombat at this point.
Well, what's your take on, before I continue on this in the story? Like, obviously, it's hinting towards a reboot or towards a restart. Do you have any like further insight on like your read on what's going on here with the clock?
I mean, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right? I think Mortal Kombat 1 is what they're talking about, and I think that it's them trying to kind of like start fresh, so like get a lot of newcomers in for a franchise that the last couple iterations have really kind of made Mortal Kombat more mainstream than it's ever been besides the early 90s, which was a completely different time for video games. So I think that we keep talking about it, but we're about to be in potentially the greatest time for fighting games in history. And I think that a reboot for Mortal Kombat is kind of a perfect thing to do with where we're at right now, specifically with how much we've talked about not necessarily needing more Mortal Kombat because we've gotten so much of it with Aftermath, even like with the DLC packs and all that stuff, where it's like, oh, maybe we should see NetherRealm do another Injustice or a new IP or something before another Mortal Kombat. If it's going to be Mortal Kombat, I think this is the route to go for sure.
So a few interesting things here. People in chat were alerting us to the fact, and Barrett brought it up. Ed Boon did tweet about 20 minutes ago, and he says, for the record, we never confirmed our next game is a Mortal Kombat game. And then he has the J. Jonah Jameson like laughing.
Then he also spelled confirmed with a K, and so.
But also, I also don't know. I mean, 1, he spelled it with a K. 2, they literally but WB had a financial call where they were like, hey, Mortal Kombat's going to come in the next 12 months. And then also, yeah, like they put the hashtag Mortal Kombat in the tweet with the clock with the 11 going to the 1. What is he talking about?
I don't know, but that's really awesome.
No, I think he's just being.
You think he's just trolling?
I think he's being.
I think he's just trolling.
He could be trolling. It could be maybe there's like a smaller game coming before Mortal Kombat. There's a lot of things this could be. I'm excited. I like that there's some mystery and intrigue going on, especially as we're leading into Summer Game Fest season of like announcements galore are about to go down.
What would be a NetherRealm, like a game they would put out before Mortal Kombat?
I don't know. Like
a smaller game, because they're not going to put out an Injustice and Mortal Kombat in the same 12-month period.
I don't think so. Yeah, who knows? But this is cool though.
It's interesting. I feel like he's just fucking with us. I don't know if this is alluding to something, another game.
Nah, this is classic Ed Boon shit.
Somebody says MK karting. I mean, I think actually that could make sense.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, they had MK Kart in Armageddon, so it's not like they've not done it before.
Yeah.
They also had Chess Combat in Deception. I'm a big fan of Chess Combat.
Chess Combat.
I love Chess Combat so much. Going back to the news story, continuing on, this video was hinting that the next entry in the Mortal Kombat series wouldn't be Mortal Kombat 12, but a remake of the original Mortal Kombat or possibly a reboot of the series. Not long after, noted Twitter leakster Bill Leakster revealed the game's name, which hints that the next Mortal Kombat title will indeed be a reboot of the series. We at Windows Central have confirmed through our sources that the information provided by Bill Bilkun is indeed legitimate. The post says that the next Mortal Kombat from NetherRealm Studios and Warner Brothers Games will be called Mortal Kombat 1. It is scheduled to be released for Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, PS5, Switch, and PC. Our sourcing suggests that the game will be revealed in full in the next couple of weeks. Our sourcing suggests that Mortal Kombat 1 is targeting a September 2023 launch window. God, September. Although plans may be in flux. We've heard the MK1 character pass will feature various properties owned by Warner Brothers, including Peacemaker from the DC universe and possibly Homelander from the comic book series The Boys, amongst others we have yet to confirm.
That's pretty cool.
That's really
and that's also
cool.
very Mortal Kombat, right? That's in line with them. And like having the Homelander, come on, that'd be pretty ridiculously rad. Yeah, Mortal Kombat 1. Normally, I laugh at putting 1 on things. Like, when you think about the Xbox, that was a weird move for them to do. Mortal Kombat 1, I'm here for it. We've already had Mortal Kombat, the original, and then there was Mortal Kombat 9, which was Mortal Kombat. So calling this Mortal Kombat 1, I think kind of explains what it is. It's a little silly, but...
Do you think they're going to do like the Roman numeral one? Because they did that for Mortal Kombat X. I forget if 11 was just 11.
Doesn't the Roman numeral 1 just look like a 1?
It's like
there's more little serif there, though, you know? Maybe they'll make the serif like Scorpion's little... I don't know what the thing's called. I
guess Mortal Kombat 11 was just the number 11.
This is exciting. I feel like they have an opportunity here to get even more people on and kind of like, in the same way that Street Fighter 6 seems to be a great jump on point for newcomers, I feel like this could be that for Mortal Kombat from a story perspective, which is, I think, equally important for NetherRealm players as it Street Fighter kind of getting people into the actual gameplay of the fighting is on the Street Fighter side.
Yeah, I have so many questions. I think my biggest thing is I don't want it to feel like we keep repeating the same thing over and over again, because like you mentioned, we did get a Mortal Kombat reboot with Mortal Kombat 9 that came out around a decade ago.
But even that, I feel like, was a reboot that required previous knowledge to some extent.
I feel like that. But I think I would assume that this is what this is going to be too, because you look at the clock teaser, and in the reflection of it, you have the spacey stuff. You have like in the clock itself, right? The time reference is a reference to the ending of Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah.
And so much of that feels like it's them following up on Thunder, Liu Kang, and I think it was Katana, like controlling the flows of time and restarting everything over. I feel like we're going to get a continuation of the story we just got.
My hope would be that's not the case, because I love the story. I love where we're at. I love how wacky it all got. I think that if you're going to name something Mortal Kombat 1, at the very least for this game, for the story, the core of it, maybe a post-credit tease or something that it's connected, keep it as its own universe. Like, keep it small, keep it tight, get a good story in there, and like build something here that eventually you can add to the wackiness, add some DLC after the aftermath or whatever.
After the aftermath. Somebody in chat mentioned where it goes. Somebody, Sweet Joe's in chat says, but like MK lore is so bad. I need mods to time out Sweet Joe's for 10 minutes. All right, you get the fuck out of here with that kind of talk. Is he wrong? Not really, but it's fun. That's what it's about. It's about fun. And Mortal Kombat lore is fun. All right, it doesn't need to be good.
But it could be.
Could it?
I mean, that's a good point. That's a good point. I think it could be tighter. I think it could be like a little bit more like I think it could be reined in a little bit more.
I feel that.
A fast 5 compared to a fast 10.
I feel like fast is probably the best comparison you can make with Mortal Kombat, actually, because there's no way to take Mortal Kombat seriously. Like, you're talking about fucking Baraka with 2 blades on his arms. You're talking about Bo Raicho, who is the master of drunken fists. You're talking about Liu Kang, who flies through the air to kick people and does bicycle kicks in the air. Like, none of this shit makes sense. And I kind of like it that way. I like being able to not take it seriously, even though like they put them in these entertaining scenarios, and that's what it's about. Again, it's about fun.
September 2023, Bless. Let's talk about that for a sec. Street Fighter 6 coming in June. Mortal Kombat September. Tekken, what we think in maybe January, February?
I hope so. The marketing rollout for Tekken, granted, it's slowed down in recent weeks and in recent months. But like from January up until I want to say about early March, they were cranking out character reveals every week. Like the game is about to come out. And so I kind of expect Tekken to get a date maybe during Summer Game Fest. Like I feel like we're sooner than later than that for that game getting a date. And for how much we know about it, like that game feels like it's coming out later this year. That said, I've said this before with Street Fighter. Like I played Street Fighter Summer Game Fest last year, and that game felt like it was imminent because it felt so far along. And so it's so hard to pin that stuff down. I hope for Tekken's sake, honestly, that it's coming out next year, not this year, because I don't. As much as Tekken is a force and as dope as Tekken is, Tekken doesn't need to go up against Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter in the same year. Like in a year where Tekken comes out, let's say in 2024, it's gonna win Best Fighting Game. You know, like I guess Project L might come out, and that might be the one piece of competition. But aside from that, Tekken would get to own 2024 if Project L is not as far along. Whereas if Tekken comes out this year, like if Tekken comes out in November, no, like don't do that to yourself against Mortal Kombat, because Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter just have the popularity. Street Fighter has the technical fighting game fans fuck with Street Fighter heavy, and then Mortal Kombat has that mainstream. Tekken should wait until 2024 to like, you know, have space to itself and then ride off of the hype of both of those games.
Bless, the last thing I want to say about this before we move on to the next story. Mr. Hawk says, if Cole Young isn't in the game, I'm out. Who else is going to be the perfect training dummy? Can you imagine if Mortal Kombat 1 was like, hey, guess what? This is the story of Cole Young.
I would be so mad.
Oh my
I would be
God.
so upset. Like, I'd bring back Shujinko. Like, get Cole Young out of here. I'd prefer Shujinko over that. If he was a training dummy, though, like if you go into the training mode and you're just beating up on Cole Young, I could be down for that. I think that'd be the right way to do it. You know what the right way for you to support us is? Patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames.
True.
You can go over there. You can get the show ad-free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
Shout out to Shady Rays for sponsoring this episode. Do you want to look as cool as I look? Yes, you do. And you can. You can take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead with premium polarized shades at an unbeatable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair that I've ever worn in my life. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. You can wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after you purchase. Exclusively for you listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. You can go to shadyrays.com and use the code KindaFunny. You can get 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. You can try for yourself the shades that are rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Promo code KindaFunny at shadyrays.com.
Tim, who would you say is your number one Mortal Kombat character?
I'm such a boring boy. Are you kidding me? I'm Sub-Zero. Like,
man.
Every once in a while,
Basic.
Dude, you see a character and you're just like, that's the most Tim thing ever. Like his outfit, I'm just like, it's so sick. It's so cool. It's like he just looks too cool for me to go anywhere
Look at
else.
this basic guy.
Yeah. What about you?
Scorpion.
No, you I
love Scorpion so
You know
much.
the worst thing too is I actually like Scorpion's moveset better, but I'm just like,
He's blue. Sub-Zero's blue.
I can't do it. This is it.
I feel that.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. No, I can't wait.
Who's
Fighting
your
games are
Street
back.
Fighter character?
You know, like so I did the Street Fighter preview recently that I talked a little bit about on PS Love You, and during that preview, I think I've become a Cammy boy. I think I'm newly becoming a Cammy person. In the last year, I've found myself loving Luke, who was the latest DLC character for the last Street Fighter, and is kind of one of the main characters this time around. Before that, I didn't really have a character. Like I was rocking a lot of Ryu and Ken because I wasn't that deep into Street Fighter.
Yeah.
The more I play it, the more that Luke I'm loving, and then now I think Cammy might be one of my main characters.
Yeah,
into this one.
I'm a Chun-Li boy. I always have
Barrett's
been.
shaking his head at me. Listen, Barrett.
No, I mean let's be real.
Why is Cammy?
It's the gameplay. It's her moveset.
Dude, that's my thing. Is like I've always respected Cammy, but she plays like her and like that type of character. I just can never wrap my head around her combos. Like the way that the controller has to turn.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
See, that's me with a Chun-Li. I know you're a Chun-Li guy.
Yeah.
I can't hit the charge
charging
moves.
stuff. Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I can only hit it like 30% of the time. I don't know if I'm just bad or what. But
yeah.
But yeah, definitely
also,
the gameplay.
It's the gameplay. I do like her character design a lot. I think Cammy's character
It's a
design is pretty
fantastic
dope.
design. That bomber jacket, incredible.
Fresh.
Mhm.
You know, the colors, fresh.
It's good.
She's fantastic. Shout out to Cammy.
Theme song, great.
Theme song is fantastic. Her hair, they nailed that character design. Barrett. Story number 3. ASUS ROG Ally has reviews up right now. We got a little review. Yeah. Wait, what's this?
It's the Raj.
Oh, that's
Review
good.
of Raj.
That's good. And we're all allies of Raj, and so shout out to that. We got a review roundup for you for the ASUS ROG Ally. It's been recently announced that it launches June 13th for $700, and that's for the premium version. There's another version that comes out later on for less money. We're going to start off with Robert Anderson at IGN, who gave it an 8 out of 10, and says the ASUS ROG Ally. Am I saying that right? Is it ROG or ROG?
I think it's ASUS.
ASUS.
And I think it's the Republic
ROG.
of Gamers. That's what
so
ROG is.
the G in that case would be a Republic of
ROG.
Rug.
Yeah.
I'm just saying we call him Raj, so I think we should just
Rug.
call it Raj.
The ASUS ROG Ally is the next challenger in line when it comes to portable PC gaming. This new handheld brings with it a beautiful 1080p screen and a 120Hz refresh rate alongside an AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme Zen 4 APU. Nerds. And a price point that's set to perk up the ears of anyone looking for a serious Steam Deck competitor. At $699, the Z1 Extreme powered ROG Ally is only $50 more than the beefiest Steam Deck available, packing with it a whole slew of technical improvements over Valve's handy device as well. There's also a slightly less powerful Z1 powered ROG Ally model coming soon for $599. Importantly, it's also not limited by Steam Deck's Linux-based SteamOS, for better or worse. If you've dreamt of a Windows-based handheld PC that pushes the boat out on features, doesn't cost $1,000 plus, and plays Game Pass games natively on the go, then the ROG Ally could be what you're looking for. The ASUS ROG Ally truly feels like the portable Xbox Game Pass machine that many fans have been clamoring for. While a frustrating user experience, poor battery life, and a lack of Steam Deck-style touchpads do hold it back a bit, it's undeniable how much fun this handheld is to use when it really gets ticking. And then over on Wired, Eric Ravenscraft gave it a 3 out of 10. I'm just pulling their
3 out of 10.
A 3 out of 10, yeah. Then I'm pulling from their
What the fuck? That was a.
Oh yeah, no, we're taking a left turn here from 8 out of 10 to 3 out of 10. The way that they do it to sum up their reviews, right? They have the wired section and the tired section. So for the wired section, there's a crisp 1080p display. It can install games from any Windows compatible library, and it's lightweight enough to not strain wrists. From the tired section, janky Windows interface, frequent bugs, and broken control schemes. Abysmal battery life, even when running low-powered games. The powerful processor still struggles to run Windows on a handheld. I'm still seeing reviews start to trickle out for this thing, and so like I didn't have a wide array of reviews to pull from, but yeah, 8 out of 10 and a 3 out of 10.
This 3, it does not seem representative of everything I've been seeing from the tech people I follow. I'm really excited for this thing. I want to get it in my hands. Like with all of these handhelds, I'm really picky about how premium they feel and like how the buttons and D-pad. Looking at this D-pad, I don't have high hopes. It looks a little mushy. I'm not a fan of mushy buttons, especially on the D-pad side of things, but love the color scheme of this. Speaks to me very loudly. Stormtrooper with some nice little blue aesthetics. Perfect for my taste. I prefer Windows over Linux, so like a lot of stuff here, I'm like, this is way more up my alley than a Steam Deck. I still don't have a use case for it, and until these things have OLED, I'm like, I really don't have any way to even convince myself that I might use it enough to get one. But I think at the end of the day, the most important thing is I like how many of the big guys are taking swings out there with these handheld portable game consoles that I think are going to continue the shift into PC gaming being more mainstream and kind of leveling the playing field a bit. And on the Xbox side of things, Xbox partnering with more groups and people like ASUS to have Game Pass games be able to be played natively on a handheld.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's huge. I think that's really cool. And the price seems right on this too. Like being a competitor to the Steam Deck and being in that same kind of price range with stats like this, impressive. And I think competitive. And I think that that's going to result in a better landscape for kind of everybody. There's going to be, in the same way there always is with PC stuff, where it's like you get the one dedicated one. If you want a MacBook, you know what you're getting here. But then I feel like that's kind of more the Steam Deck side, where it is a little bit more contained of a ecosystem. You can break through it and you can do some things that you want to. But then on the ASUS side, I imagine that thing's like, that's more the Wild West of like, how much support is this thing going to get in 3 years? I doubt as much as the Steam Deck does. But I think that's kind of like par for the course for how these things go.
I'm a deck boy for life, and so I'm not going to touch this thing. Isn't that right, Barrett?
Yeah!
Deck boys.
I mean, I did, turn on my deck for the first time in like 3 months the other day, and there was like a concerning moment where it wasn't turning on, and I was like, "Oh God, is this it?
Is this when I switched to the ASUS ROG Ally?
I got it figured out though. It just needed a little reboot.
Honestly, it's been a little bit since I've really touched my Steam Deck as well. But
honestly, just like what we need to do is dedicated deck boys, is just turn it on, even just to go through the menus like every like.
It's like when you start a car in the winter, just to make sure that like the thing's not fucking up.
Exactly.
Every couple of days, turn that thing on, the engine going. Look at us.
I know.
Turn on your Steam Deck once a week just to make sure that it's good.
Andy had to start doing that with his car. Remember that in the work from home days? He would have to like just turn on his car and just drive it around the block just to make sure it didn't die. And we're deck boys.
And we're deck boys. Yeah. Deck boys for life. You got to do what you got to do.
Car boys. Venn diagram, just a circle.
Just a circle.
Level head in the chat saying you got to do the deck check.
You got to do the deck check. What are we?
Your deck today?
What are we doing? I'm sadly not yet. You go home and turn that thing on. But like you said, Planet Elena is coming out, and so like I'm gonna turn on the deck for that.
Oh yeah, that's a perfect deck.
Yeah, that's the perfect deck game. Story number 4: a publisher that's probably gonna publish a lot of perfect deck games, Devolver, has confirmed their Direct is coming in June. This just came from a simple tweet this morning. Yes, we're doing a Devolver Direct in June. And when I say this morning, I mean yesterday. More information soon.
Yay!
Let's go.
Yeah, Devolver's so dope, man. The Directs get a little too weird, and I feel like I'm out of the joke. It's one of those inside jokes that I'm outside of, so I don't like it. You know what I mean?
I get it. No, I feel
but I appreciate that it's happening. And besides that, there's always a million super high quality games. So very, very stoked.
Is there anything that you want to see info on? I think Gunbrella is. I forget if we have a date for Gunbrella.
I don't think we have a date. Like, yeah, some dates would be nice for some of the indies we've been seeing a whole bunch. But the thing I love about Devolver is like they always have that weird surprise where you see something, you're like, whoa, this looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah, 1,000%. I'm like looking on their website to see what Angerfoot. I forgot that Angerfoot was them. Angerfoot looks pretty cool. So I'd love to see more from that. The Plucky Squire. When we talk about games this year, that's like that looks special. That looked dope as hell. The Plucky Squire. That has the potential to be an indie darling for this year.
That's another one where even just the trailer alone, like with Tears of the Kingdom, people are like, how does this game even work? And like, how does it do all of this? Just looking at the trailer for the Plucky Squire, it's like, how? How are they doing this?
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, I've never seen this.
You've never seen it?
No.
Barry, can you pull up the full trailer for Plucky Squire?
Whoa, this looks incredible. Good for them.
Wait, hold on. Keep watching there. Like literally goes from a fun 2D art style and then he steps into 3D.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pull that up.
Yeah, so right now if you're watching the video, Bear has it shown.
Oh, I have seen this.
This game looks incredible. Like and honestly, it's like this doesn't look real. Like this is a I gotta have this in my hands on the Steam Deck before I'm fully bought in of the hype because
oh my god,
this just looks too good.
Yeah. Put it on the list. I don't know what list, but put it on.
Put it on the list. It's on
every single list. Then there's the other game. What's it called?
Skate Story?
What's up with Skate Story?
Yeah, what is up?
Is
with
that
Skate
Devolver?
Story? That is Devolver.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I definitely need more Skate Story in my life. The other game that we are super high on from GDC, I'm not sure if it's Devolver, but the one that's playing with perspectives.
Oh, the camera one.
Oh no, that's Thunderful. It's a Thunderful game.
Yeah.
But that looks so
cool.
damn good.
Yeah, very excited. Like I with every Devolver Direct they do, there's always a game or a couple that stand out. And I am in on the joke. I love those things. It's very Adult Swim. It's very remember Too Many Cooks.
Oh yeah,
that's the vibe I get from the Devolver Directs, and I love those vibes.
Yeah,
I was definitely an Adult Swim kid. That's why I'm so fucked up in the brain, Barrett.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Our last news story for you, story number 5. Panic is publishing a first-person soccer game. This is from Nick Sutner, who works at Panic. They put up a PlayStation blog detailing a bit about this game, and I put it on the Roper Report because I think it looks pretty cool. They write, "Hello, PlayStation. It's us, Panic, publishers of Firewatch, Untitled Goose Game, and the upcoming Nor Play With Your Food. We have a veritable bevy of upcoming PlayStation game news to share, starting with Despelote." I might be pronouncing that wrong, but it's coming to PS5 in 2024. The game will also be part of Tribeca's 2023 festival selection, which we're deeply honored by. Despelote is a beautiful slice of life adventure about childhood and the magical grip that soccer held over the people of Quito, Ecuador, in 2001. Right from their first pitch, we were instantly transported by the work of its creator, Julian Cordero and Sebastian Valbuena. As a semi-autobiographical story of Julian's childhood, it feels deeply authentic to a specific time and place, while also managing to feel universal in many respects. As we wander the streets of Quito, getting caught up in mischief and soaking in the local culture. Despelote's gameplay leans on many of the verbs you'd associate with soccer: dribbling, passing, and kicking, and all feeling great from a first-person perspective. But used for a variety of playful, funny interactions as you explore the town, as well as affecting storytelling as you're swept up in the fervor of Ecuador's first qualifying run for the World Cup. This game seems super neat. First person again, like the art style looks really distinct. You got like, I don't know how I'll describe this art style, but it's like it's like shades of purple, right? All in kind of the same tone.
This is very difficult to explain.
Yeah.
But can you go back like maybe 10, 15 seconds?
It looks like you have 2D art for the characters.
We've been watching this trailer for like a minute, and I was just like, what does this remind me of in a weird way? And then it hit me. I was like, King of the Hill. These characters look like King of the Hill. And then here he just goes, damn, Bobby. Did not teach you.
God damn it, Bobby.
But yeah, the hit
You're like
play and see it in
propane
motion.
tanks in this game.
I'm sorry, Dad.
But yeah, I saw this on the timeline, of course. Like, I really like soccer, and so I thought it looked neat. It looks like a mixture between me and Greg Miller's interests. This looks like the kind of narrative game that Greg Miller would love, but then also like the kind of weird, like actiony kind of, or not actiony, but like the weird sportsy, I guess, kind of video game that I would dig, right? And this looks really cool. I like the idea of, hey, let's tell the story of Ecuador's, like this specific community in Ecuador during Ecuador's first qualifying run for the World Cup. That sounds fucking awesome. And yeah, like I'm gonna keep my eye on this because I think it looks pretty neat.
I like that games can look so different now when people are just like taking swings and like, hey, like we've had artsy games for a while now, but like, look, cool, we can get weird with that.
Yeah,
we can do
let's
things
get
with like,
weirder.
what's an idea we have? This story. How do we make that a game? That's what this looks like. Like that, it results in like cool, unique things we haven't seen before. So it probably won't be for everybody, but I think it's gonna really connect with
people who
a whole bunch of people. Yeah.
Tim, I can't wait to check out this game, and I can't wait for the next World Cup, Tim.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be CONCACAF.
Oh, I've been waiting for that one.
Yeah, that means it's coming here. That means it's gonna be in America, and so I'm gonna hopefully go.
The World Cup's gonna be in America.
Yeah, like America, Canada, I believe, like Mexico. KindaFunny.com says you're wrong.
Interesting.
Yeah, but that's what CONCACAF is. CONCACAF is like, I can look up what the full thing is.
Is the World Cup? What's the World Series is like 7 games, right? NBA Finals is 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
What's the World Cup?
The World Cup is a whole tournament.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's like a lot of it's a lot of games. It's like it's like a bunch of countries come together. I think they've increased the amount of countries actually for the next one.
It's just one game matches. There's not like series between like 2 teams, are there?
There's no. There's not series between 2 teams. And so once you get into like the like tournament stage, it is just best of 1.
Okay.
But it starts off as group stages.
More like NFL a little bit.
Yeah.
Playoffs.
Okay, so how long does the World Cup last?
Maybe like a few weeks, like a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So you're able to get in and get out. It's like kind of like I was gonna say the Olympics. The Olympics might last longer, but it's concise.
So when you say it's gonna be in America, I know I'm asking you a lot of questions
on
the spot here. I'm just interested because I do not know at all. Where's it gonna be? Is it gonna be like different places?
It's gonna be in different places. Yeah. So I would have to look it up to remind myself, but I think it is gonna be like places in Canada, a couple of stadiums in the U.S., and then a couple of stadiums in like Central America.
So I can't even fathom a soccer stadium in the U.S.
we have an MLS.
Where are they?
We have like Seattle has the Sounders team, and they have the same. I'm sure it's probably the same place they play football at. They just like repurpose it.
Oh yeah,
you're like we have to build them. We have to build them before the World Cup.
Fuck, we got.
Yeah, we got
to start building. We
got to build all the soccer stadiums.
Wait, really? Is it actually is the football stadium? They just use that for soccer here? Freaking for reals!
Yeah.
We have a soccer league,
and that's similar. Like where the Oakland A's play when the Raiders were here. Wasn't that also two purpose of the A's and then where they would play football as well?
Yeah, but they're saying that's not the case.
Wait, really?
They're saying that there's a dedicated soccer field.
That's not right.
Stadium, arena.
For America, no shot.
No shot. Not
in
way.
America, a dedicated soccer field? Keep dreaming. Well, Tim, the next World Cup is just so far away. If I want to know what's coming out to mom and pop shops today, Where would I look?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform is listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Yeah. So CONCACAF stands for the Confederation of North, Central America, and Caribbean Association Football. So it's basically America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Out today, we got Death or Treat for PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. You should also come through. Me and Janet have been we're literally just texting about this week that we want to go to some World Cup games, and so we're already planning. We're already saving up for it, Tim.
Yeah.
Tim, if you want to start saving up right now, you can come with us to some
maybe,
World Cup
man.
matches.
I want to chant along with everybody. That seems fun.
So you can get one of the vuvuzelas. You know what a vuvuzela is?
Oh, of course I do.
Yeah, you can get one of those. Get Nuisance.
Mm-hmm.
It's Uncharted. Yeah, exactly.
What the hell is this, Barrett?
Is that Death or Treat?
Yeah. It unfortunately looks almost exactly like Have a Nice Death.
I was gonna say I thought you pulled that up.
Yeah, which is like unfortunate that they both look so similar.
I like this character design though.
Yeah,
it looks neat.
It's very cool.
Marvel's it's very cool.
Yeah, I would just maybe like the one difference, like I know Have a Nice Death is more roguelite, but
is this just a straight up
vibe from this? Maybe
this looks like it might be a Metroidvania. Ooh, that animation on that boss fight looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat just told me that San Jose has a soccer team named the Earthquakes.
I couldn't have told you that.
Well, stop lip here, mine. You said the Earthquakes? I did. Wow, man.
I could tell
I'm
you
loading
about
a lot. Yeah, we'll be the only people there.
I don't know how many American soccer teams I could name. If I'm being honest, probably like 2, if that. There's LA Galaxy.
There's not.
Yeah, there's the LA Galaxy. There's Seattle Sounders. Oh, there's one in Miami. What's the Miami one? It's not the Heat, because that's the basketball team. That's where Shaquille O'Neal played.
Yeah, NBA Street
Miami.
3.
Fuck, what's Miami, chat? Fuck, oh damn. There's the Chicago. I lived in Illinois, Tim. I can't think of the Chicago one either.
Kickers.
Chicago Fire. Thank you.
The Chicago Fire.
Yeah.
Mike, did you seriously just pull that out of your brain?
People are saying Inter Miami. I don't believe that. There's no way it's called Inter Miami. They just stole it from Milan. They're like, oh, Milan does it. We can do it too. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Yeah, everybody's saying Inter Miami. That's crazy. That's crazy. Another Fisherman's Tale for PC, MetaQuest 2, and PSVR 2. Mechabellum, early
New York
access.
Red Bull? No.
They're just making things up.
Do Red Bull own the team? Is it a sponsored thing? Xbox jersey, Seattle Sounders. There you go.
Yeah,
I'm learning a lot.
When I first moved to Seattle, I noticed so many of the jerseys, right? And like with the Xbox logo like big on them, right? And I used to think for the longest time, I was like, damn, people in Seattle really love Xbox. Damn, I didn't realize.
That's so funny.
It must be because Microsoft is based here. Like, oh man, everybody
big
loves
home
Xbox.
team, baby.
Where's the Nintendo love? There's Nintendo of America is in this area too. And then I realized that it was the Seattle Sounders thing. I was like, oh, I'm an idiot.
Okay, I'm going to stop looking at chat after this. Colin Berry says the San Francisco Bridges. There's no.
That makes sense because we have a lot of bridges here.
Okay.
We're going to do this during the post show. Perfect. And then Fuga, Melodies of Steel 2 for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Switch. Nightmare Reaper for PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X. What I like to imagine is that there's somebody who's scrolling through their Spotify, and they're like, they can't wait for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, but they're also just the biggest soccer fan of all time. And they click this episode because they want to get in that hype mode. They want to get hype for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And they listen through and they're like, oh man, I'm really enjoying the vibe. I'm really enjoying the conversation. And then it gets to soccer and we just fucking butcher everything. And they're conflicted because they're like, man, the Tears of the Kingdom conversation was so good, but these guys are idiots. Like,
it's coming from a place of understood ignorance. I'm not trying to act like, I'm telling you, I don't know anything about this. I'm trying to learn.
The fucked up thing is I could probably name more Premier League teams than MLS teams. And I live I live here. I live in the U.S. But we'll try that after in the post show, Mike, to see how many of those teams I can name. And then we got TT Isle of Man. Ride on the Edge 3 is out on everything. New dates for you. Friends vs. Friends launches May 30th for PC. Goodbye Volcano High has been delayed to August 29th. That previously was coming out on June 15th. One Piece Odyssey DLC Reunion of Memories launches May 25th. And then Everslot Invasion, the VR co-op action game, will launch on May 25th for MetaQuest 2. Deal of the day for you, The Dark Pictures House of Ashes for PS4 is $8.49 on Amazon. That is the best one. And so if you're looking to get some Dark Pictures action going, House of Ashes, $8.49. Now it's time to squad up. Of course, you can write into kindafunny.com/KFG to get your squad ups read on the show, just like Tiny Cam did. Tiny Cam writes in and says, Nintendo Online Family Edition coming at ya. My Nintendo Online expired recently, and I'm looking for some best friends who might have an extra slot available I could contribute to. Or if there's some best friends who want to come together and start a new family account with me. Either way, I'm down and ready to squad up/family up. Hit me on Twitter. Hit me up on Twitter or Instagram at Captain Cam with 3 M's. That is Captain Cam. Love you guys and thank you. If you want to add Tiny Cam on Switch as well, you can do so with the friend code SW-4838-4430-4216, and that will be in the YouTube description for you to check out. Now it's time for kindafunny.com/you're wrong, where you write in. Let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong so we can correct it for those watching later on YouTube and listening later on podcast services around the globe. Zaxxon Galaxian says, ROG is pronounced like ROG, where you say each letter separately. So I nailed that shit.
Republic of Gamers.
Republic of Gamers. If you Rug. I mean, if you're going by how it sounds in the thing, it's Rug.
No, it's Raj.
And I think that's it for kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Everything else just disappeared.
And then Trackmania for PS5, Xbox, everything. Luna, May 15th. From some Charles Jacobs.
You know what? Everything didn't disappear. I just happened to scroll all the way right for some reason. It's the side wheel. It's the side wheel. Yeah.
The side wheel will get you. Side wheel will get you.
Somebody says, why did Blessing pronounce contribute like contraband? I mess up on that word a lot. I don't know what it is.
These days, guys, I told you. Marvel
it's not even one of these days. I've had that issue forever.
Oh, yeah?
yeah. Whenever I get to that word, I don't know how to say it. Contribute.
I had a speech problem when I was a little kid. It was a big problem until I was in like 2nd grade. I couldn't say the ER sound. 3rd grade, 4th grade.
Like, how would you say it? Like, you say like a British person?
Like if I said the word girl, I'd say girl. Like, I just couldn't do the ER sound. It was nuts. I had to go to like so much training to like change it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So here I am now. I can do it. Couldn't do it before.
Yeah. I for me, when I was a kid, I've gone back and forth on accents. Where I spent the first 10 years of my life living in the U.S., growing up in Illinois, and then I moved to Nigeria. By the time I moved back from Nigeria, I had spent years there, moved back to the U.S., I had a full Nigerian accent, and then I switched all the way back to my American accent after like a year or so of living in the U.S. I'm pretty sure that permanently not messed up, but like permanently affected my speech and how I talk.
Dude, now, your accent you have now, is it the same as you had growing up?
I don't know. You know, that's a really good question. I don't know if it was the same that I had before I moved to Nigeria.
If I was like, say a sentence right now in your like first 10-year accent, your Nigerian accent, and now, could you do that?
No, absolutely not.
Could you do Nigerian?
Maybe I'll need some practice because I've not spoken in a Nigerian accent in a very long time. But like, if you prepared me and were like, hey, we're gonna have you do this on a day, I think I could master it. I think I could bring it back. Yeah. That's it for kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Tomorrow's hosts for Kinda Funny Games Daily are going to be Tim and me. If you're watching this live, remember we're trying something new here with YouTube Super Chats on Kinda Funny Games Daily. Only on YouTube and the live stream, there's going to be a 30-minute post show where Mike comes in to talk to us hosts about your Super Chat questions. So stay tuned after the handshake to hang out with us and have a good time. Remember, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames and twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. Remember, right after this episode in the post show, I'm going to play some Zelda on stream for about 30 minutes. Come through, ask your questions, let me know what you want to know, and I'll do my best to answer those questions. Until next time, I've been Blessing, that's been Tim. It's been our pleasure to serve you. Game Daily.
Welcome, Mr. Snowbike Mike.
Hello, everybody.
Now, Mike, I don't want to put you on blast here, but I'm going to put you on blast here. But you if you don't want to be blasted, you can just be like, I don't want to be blasted. We don't do this.
Today.
Does the world know your middle name?
Maybe some people.
Okay.
It's not like big. Why do you?
Because I saw it yesterday, and it blew my mind.
Oh, you didn't know about it?
No.
Really?
Yeah, so it's up to you if you want to tell the people.
Oh, we can tell the people.
It's Howard, isn't it? It's Michael Howard.
It's
Howard.
Bartholomew.
Like, hold on, before you say it, anyone in the chat have any guesses?
Yeah, take a good guess.
What Mike's middle name is?
Feel free to guess.
Think about this.
We'll
Y'all will
take
not
a
guess.
moment. Take a moment. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, middle
Ulysses.
names. Middle names usually not spoken about.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Not
they're
really
not.
used.
You
Bless,
know
do
my
have a
middle name? Yeah, I have a lot of middle names actually.
Really?
Yeah. When a popular thing to do in Nigeria are naming ceremonies
I
where
remember you telling us about
Yeah.
that because your sister's having a baby,
my
right?
sister's
Yes, I
actually
remember you
just
saying
had a
that.
baby.
Holy snap.
Hey.
Yeah,
I
the other
remember
day.
that.
Uncle
Yeah.
Bless.
Yeah, this is my
Wow.
fourth time being an uncle because
Whoa.
yeah,
Oh,
but it's
snap.
this sister hasn't had a baby yet, so this is
Oh,
her first
cool.
baby. So it's
Congrats.
a very exciting thing. But yeah, like because she's having a naming ceremony. But yeah, usually in a naming ceremony, you have family members and close family friends come through, and they like the handful of them will give the baby a name. And so like there's a bunch of names. There's like 15 different names that I was given.
Wow.
I think like only like 2 to 3 of them are on my birth certificate.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite one out of the mix that you can remember?
Wayne.
Wayne?
That was given to me by our white pastor.
Oh.
Because I came from, I'm like first generation, right? So like my family's from Nigerian, but my mom and dad moved here, and like they moved to Illinois, in like central Illinois, and we had a pastor named Pastor Grogan that they became close with, and so like he came to the naming ceremony, and everybody's giving me all these Nigerian names, and they're like, all right, like Pastor Grogan, now it's your turn to give this guy a name, and he's like, I'll give him one of my middle names, like because his name is Gary Wayne Grogan, and so he named me Wayne,
I like
and that's
that.
one of my middle
nice.
names.
That is
I
awesome.
like that. Okay. Yeah, we saw some names in there. A lot of Snowbikel, a lot of Danger. I like Danger in there.
Danger's
Mike
good.
Danger.
Tim,
Yeah.
how important is the middle name to you?
No, not at all.
You know,
Like especially like for me, and my middle name's Robert, after my grandpa, who I never even met. He was dead before I was born. Both my
Yes.
grandpas were both named Robert.
yes, my name. I'm after Grandpa, but my dad's grandpa. So like, it's a guy I've never even met. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm Michael Rexford Howard.
Rexford.
Rexford.
That's
Rexford.
sick as hell.
Isn't that fucking sick?
Rexford
I saw
is
it yesterday and I was like, are you kidding me?
I hate that it makes Mike cool.
Michael Rexford.
Rexford is dope as hell.
Michael
I'm so
Rexford,
mad.
dude.
And then there's cousin Rex, who is Rexford Michael Howard.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so we have the play on right there. Same age as me as well. I wonder if
You
he's
could have
doing
been
well.
Snowbike Rex.
Yeah. Oh man, I should have done that.
That's
How
dope
close
as
do
hell.
you keep in contact with your cousins? Not your close family, but your cousins.
Not close enough, honestly.
you know what I
if I'm
mean? When
being
you think
honest.
about a cousin.
Yeah, I had my aunt and like a cousin, my aunt, uncle, and cousin actually visited randomly last week.
Okay.
Like literally, like this is like when I was reviewing Zelda, and so I was at home, and like I'm like sleeping, I get a text, then I get a call, and then I get a text, and it's from my aunt being like, hey, we just landed in San Francisco. We're gonna hang out with your cousin in the town, but we wanted to come by and say hi. And I'm like, oh, cool. How far are you? And they're like, we're like 5 minutes out from San Francisco. And so I'm like, oh, cool. Like, come through. I give my address. I take a shower, all that stuff, and like talk to them. And yeah, like I like talking to them. I was like, man, I don't talk to y'all enough. Like, I forget how dope my cousins are. My cousins are really are really fun. But
That's
like,
hilarious.
my family's all spread out throughout the country, and so it's so hard to keep in contact as consistently as I'd like to.
Tim, do you got a lot of cousins?
No, I don't really have family. You know,
Okay.
that's why I'm a big Fast and Furious guy. That's where I found it. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, no, I'm
Come
definitely
on.
more of a found family type of guy.
Okay, I like
I
that.
have growing up, I had some cousins that I was like closer to, but the one that I was closest to died when he was like 19 or something. So
Okay.
Damn.
it's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I surprisingly have a lot of cousins, but yeah, don't keep up with them. You know what I mean? Like, I think I grew up in like the Facebook era, but then we grew out of Facebook, right? And so it's like that tough one. It was like, did y'all go to Instagram?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
I don't got your number, cousin
Yeah.
Shannon. I'm sorry I don't call. You know what I mean? Like, tough.
Now, do you guys know my middle name? Have I ever revealed my middle name to you?
No.
I feel like you've booked me on things. So you
Well,
must
I
know.
learned it yesterday as well.
Oh,
seeing
okay.
that when I saw this stuff.
Yes,
So,
yes.
My main middle name is Funsho, which is short for Oluwa Funsho, which I believe is short for like Oluwato Fumisho, which basically
I love it. Which is short for this, which is short for that. Which
yeah, which I believe means that like the Lord gave me this child to take care of, something along those
Oh,
lines.
That's
Yeah.
dope as
I
shit.
like that.
Yeah.
So is that the one that would be on like your ID?
Yeah,
or, like,
that's the one that I
okay.
keep. That's like my main. That's what my parents call me, and all my like sisters and close family calls me Funsho.
Wow, that's cool. All right, guys. Well, welcome
It's not
in
as cool as
to-
Rexford.
Yeah,
welcome
fucking
into the Kinda
Rexford,
Funny
man.
Games Daily post show where myself or Andy join your two favorite Kinda Funny Games Daily show hosts. We dive a little bit deeper into the news. We bring up random topics of conversation like, hey, have you called your cousin lately? Give him a call.
Call
Let
your
him know that you're
cousin.
still around having a good time. And, of course, we take your super chats and resubs over on Twitch, and we ask the questions and hang out and have a good time, just like our good friend Omega/Buster writes in and says, Zelda, TOK Missing a T in there. Just
Oh,
so you know.
I thought that was you. I didn't know that.
Just
that
so
was
you know, Omega Buster, as someone who's up on the letters
He
right
is up
now,
on
he
the
knows
letters.
all about them
You're
letters.
missing one. Is here. And I think the Game of the Year talk starts now. I'm curious, its predecessor, if it takes the crown, or will looming underdogs like Spider-Man 2 or Final Fantasy 16 manage to upset like God of War did? So do you think this is the top dog, essentially, is what they want to know?
I think this is the top dog.
Is this the top dog right now?
I mean, this is an interesting question because, like, the manage an upset like God of War did. Are you specifically talking about in the kind of funny game of the year? Because I don't think God of War upset Elden Ring in any way. I was just talking to my brother about this yesterday, about the game of the year conversation and, like, what that entails. And I think that with Elden Ring and God of War, at the end of the day, I would say that both won a ton of different outlets' Game of the Year awards. I'd say Elden Ring won more of the Game of the Year awards. But yeah, for Kind of Funny, I think that's where it gets more interesting of, like, is Zelda going to be the slam dunk Game of the Year for Kind of Funny? And I think that there is a debate there, but I think that it's likely. You know, I think that there's going to have to be some major wins to kind of upset the voting and ranking there. But when you think about our cast of characters that we have actually contributing to this, yeah, I think Zelda's going to get a lot of love if it's as good as Blessing says. But I don't know if you can trust this.
You can't trust me. You
Ooh,
can't.
tough
Somebody. I saw somebody in the, like, one of the Instagram comments be like, "Are we sure we can let Blessing review this game?" He said Breath of the Wild is his favorite of all time. And I'm like, if you want somebody at Kind of Funny to review the game who doesn't fucking love Breath of the Wild, nobody's gonna review this game.
No,
here.
Mike Howard.
We'll
I'll
get
be
Mike
there.
to review the game.
I'll be there for you. I bought it. I bought it, Tim.
I'm proud of
He
you.
took an hour to fight a Lionel, you know.
He's on a flight tonight. All right, this man is flying, and he's like, you know what? I might watch a Kevin Hart movie on the flight.
was me.
He has Tears of the Kingdom.
This man's like, I might play NHL hits.
I want to play NHL hits, man. That's it.
My
Dope.
thing
I love
is-
you, Mike.
Game of the Year at Kind of Funny, I think usually comes down to what is the game that we all played that we all universally loved, right? Like I that's how I think that's how Ratchet and Clank, you know,
Yes.
rose the ranks. That's how something like
Good game.
Final Fantasy, I think 7 Remake rises the ranks. I think it's how God of War even like rises the ranks, and that one was gonna be probably like that was gonna be top 2 regardless, right? But I think the fact that all of us loved God of War, you know, makes it hard for something like Elden Ring, where half of us fucking loved Elden Ring, but you know that is like a hit or miss kind of game in terms of are you gonna fall into it. The question is Zelda going to be that game that all of us love, that's going to be high on all of our lists? And I think so. I think I got question marks in terms of, is Mike going to play it and love it? Is Greg Miller going to be a surprise? And like, is he going to play it and it be like a Death Stranding or a what's the other Red Dead situation where like the crafting elements are too much and he's like, no, actually this isn't as fun as I want it to be. I think those are the things that could alienate Zelda, but yeah, I don't know what would then be the thing. Maybe Jedi Survivor.
I mean, you
could
got
steal it.
Yeah, you got a solid start right now, right? Hogwarts, Jedi Survivor, now into Zelda, right? Like you have
Hi-Fi
a big
Rush.
3. Hi-Fi Rush now slides in there, right? That many of us like, but not all
Yeah.
of us,
That's
right?
the
Like
thing
that
is,
was the catch. Not all.
When you're
of
talking
us
about
on
all of
that
us,
one.
I think you're talking about Jedi Survivor, which I still gotta play. and
Resident
beat,
Evil
but I'll get
4 is in
there.
the mix.
Resident Evil 4 is definitely in the mix, but
in
I
the
don't know
mix.
if Resident Evil 4 is gonna beat a Zelda. Tears of the
Correct.
Kingdom.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
no.
Yeah.
Right now, what we have in front of us, those are like 5
Yeah.
cooking.
I
in the
think
pot.
Spider-Man 2 will be in that conversation because I think all of us will play Spider-Man 2. All of us will love it. But it's that one where I'm like, all of us might have Spider-Man in the 2 to 4 range.
Yeah.
But will that be enough to get it to overall number 1?
I would be
Possibly.
shocked if Spider-Man 2 is any of our number 1. I hope beyond hope that it is. There's nothing I would prefer more than to leave this year with Spider-Man 2 being my game of the year. I love Spider-Man so much. I just cease to see how it could be a game of the year.
Yeah.
How a Spider-Man from Insomniac can be a 10. And I hope that they can find a way to do that. I don't expect it. I don't even think that they need to, because I look at Spider-Man as, like, to me, the king of the 9.
Yeah.
And I love it for that reason. But I'm hopeful. But then Final Fantasy 16 though, that's the one that I'm like,
Diablo
potentially.
4.
I don't think Diablo
Don't
4.
forget about Diablo 4.
You know, actually, yeah,
Tim.
I probably
it's
shouldn't.
a goat. It's a goat coming in,
Starfield.
man. Todd
Starfield?
Howard
I
with
need Starfield to
Starfield.
surprise us, dude. I need Starfield to
Mike
come
says,
through
it
and surprise
needs
us.
to be the game
It
of the
needs
generation.
to be a special game there.
But I'm with Mike on this. Like, I need that game to come through and like
We're gonna see.
blow me away.
We got a lot of games, a lot of fun talking. It's exciting that Zelda is here. People are excited for it. We are rounding out the first half of the year with some bangers already. It's shaping up to be a great year of video games.
One of the
You're
best
gonna
years.
find
And
some
guys,
good
possibly
games
the best
to
year.
play when we talk about that. And there's even more that we haven't even talked about, people.
And I know I'm a broken record at this point, and we're going to keep talking about this. So you guys better subscribe to youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames. And on podcast services, please go Xcast, PSLWXOXO, Gamescast, Kinda Funny Games Daily. Subscribe to all of those. Hey, screw it. In Review, Kinda Funny Podcast. You're going to want to get those too. Screencast, so many movies coming out, TV shows. It's a great time to be a fan of Kinda Funny. You're going to get a lot of great content. But on top of all these games coming out, we're leading into this Summer Game Fest season that has the potential to be an all-timer. With the announcements we're expecting, the games that we know are going to be there that we get to play. Like, already I think that this is going to be a top-tier summer gaming experience, like back in some of the glory days of E3 at its best. And then on top of that, we have the PlayStation Showcase rumored to be 2 weeks from now. That could be a game changer for PlayStation. God, video games are cool.
Let me tell you about this game called Stellar Blade.
Oh,
The game looks really cool.
Okay.
It's supposed to come out this year.
something
It's
special.
being published by PlayStation.
Love that.
Really cool action game. Looks like a mix between Nier and Metal Gear Solid. I'm going to fucking love this game. And I forget to talk about that game every single time it comes up. There's also Liza P.
Liza P.
That game's coming out in August.
Planet of Lana. There's
Armored
a bunch
Core.
of games. Oh my god. You
Yeah,
can go down
Armored
the
Core,
list.
man.
Yeah.
It's just
There's
out there.
so many games.
Silk
still.
Song could come out this year.
Good. Hey, good. It could.
Listen, at this point, I'm like, yo, Nintendo could say that Metroid Prime 4 is coming this year, and I'd be like, all right, cool. That's par for the course at this point. This year is incredible.
We have we have a question for Bless. Sid Harth writes in and says, question for Bless. Elden Ring swept most Game of the Year awards last year by a landslide, 400 plus GOTYs according to Reset Era, and Tears of the Kingdom scores are indicating a similar dominance. Are you expecting Tears of the Kingdom to do a similar sweep? Question mark. P.S. I'm not surprised by what I've played. Winky face. Sid Harth playing right now, having some fun.
That sounds like you're pirating the game. Don't
But-
do that. Don't,
Well, maybe
Well, they could
Nah.
live in a different part of the world.
oh,
You got to remember,
how that
New
works?
Zealand's playing already right now.
Oh, yeah. Are they really?
I mean, by my clock count, I believe they're
I think,
on.
yeah, the embargo time was when it unlocks in New Zealand, I believe.
Oh, so that's a New Zealand wink. I see.
Exactly. That person could be out in the middle of nowhere.
Hell yeah.
So
Is that what
do you think-
how you refer to New Zealand, middle of nowhere?
Middle of nowhere.
Do I think it's going to sweep in the same way
Yeah,
Elden Ring
do you
did?
think?
I think it has the potential to. The thing is, I think this year is just way more competitive than last year. Like last year, Elden Ring's biggest competition was God of War Ragnarok. Granted, that is huge competition, right? Like that's the biggest competition you can ask for. But I think this year just has way more variety and a way greater number of games that have the possibility to hit for people in that way. So I think that's going to be the biggest hindrance for Zelda getting as many Game of the Years as Elden Ring. But in terms of like the quality of the game, I think it's there. Like for me, I put Zelda in that same. For me, like when we're talking about open world games, it's Zelda and Elden Ring. Like in terms of the best of the best. Like it's those two, right? Like everything falls under.
I like open world games. That's crazy.
Yeah, until Rockstar puts out the next GTA, for me that's the conversation. It's Elden Ring and Zelda.
I went back to a goat, Tim.
Yeah.
I was at home. It was my birthday weekend.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what should I do? Bless, you know what I mean? Should I return to Crime Boss Rockay City? Should I get ready for, Zelda? Should I do anything? I said, you know what? I'm going to sit down and play one of my all-time favorites. Booted up Grand Theft Auto 3.
Let's go.
And
Hell
nothing
yeah.
better
Nothing.
than that opening scene when you jump into Liberty City and 8-ball and you get out of that police van and
That
you
opera
make it.
music playing.
Oh man,
Come
you make
on.
it to the back of the strip club and you're like, it's on.
It's
what
on.
a great. You go pick up Misty. I'll tell you what, I love that game. And you know what? We got some more fun stuff because Pablo wants to bring in some MLS soccer, aka football talk, and y'all are gonna have some fun with this. Pablo writes in and says, "Which is the correct MLS soccer team?" Tim first.
Okay.
Salt Lake FC or Salt Lake or hold up. Real Salt Lake.
Real.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Salt Lake FC.
Let me double check my
Football
notes
Club. That's what that stands for.
here. Football club.
FC.
You learned that from, of course, FIFA. They taught you.
Mhm.
They taught the world that one right
Yeah.
there. And I believe it is Real Salt Lake, unfortunately, right there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's
okay.
hot in there. You saw the big ones, New York Red Bulls, right? You saw that one.
So that's real.
That is a real team. Of course, San Jose Earthquake. They have their own. So I want you to know that in the MLS, of course, soccer here, aka football, globally, not as widespread taking over the world as hockey and the mainstream sports of basketball, baseball, right? So a lot of these MLS teams.
Not taking over the world like hockey,
Hey,
he says.
Hockey's not really- it's playoff hockey. It's playoff hockey team. But they came in, and of course, you have to share field with football is how it really started. Then a lot of these MLS teams that caught fire, like San Jose, of course, up in Seattle, that team's something special. But a lot of these teams were able to catch enough fire to figure out, hey, let's build a smaller stadium that really is built for soccer and make something special.
You build it.
So they'll come. And they've proven that. I believe there's also one that our dude, that good-looking guy that says, hey, dude, you know what I mean? That one actor, hey, guy. You know who he is.
Matthew McConaughey.
I was gonna
Matthew
say
McConaughey.
I knew exactly what you're talking about.
That's the answer.
He's right.
That's correct, and I nailed it from that.
And so,
all right.
hey, dude.
Guy.
So he, I believe, is a part owner or like one of the faces of Austin FC.
Okay.
They got their own team going down in Austin, Texas. And so soccer trying to pick up some speed
So
here.
is San Francisco Bridges a thing?
No,
Okay.
I don't know who told you that. Not a thing. Not
Gotcha.
a thing. I'm trying to find like some dope names. Vancouver Whitecaps is kind of cool. Seattle Sounders, Portland Timbers. They chop wood every time. So if you score a goal, they chop a piece of this giant wood, right? And then they give.
Is this a metaphor or is this
No,
like
That's how
real
few goals
thing.
are scored in soccer.
They score the goal. He chops a giant wood off the log, and then he gives you the piece of wood, and then you can take it home, put it up on your mantle, so you
Okay.
scored.
It's like
I like
So
that.
that's kind of lit. You know what I mean? Kind of lit.
Yeah.
But that's all the teams you really need to know.
Okay.
There's no cool names like that. I'm sorry, people. There's no cool names. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, I
I'm
like
look-
New England Revolution.
New England Revolution, Houston Dynamo.
But it's kind of lame that it's like then there's just Orlando City.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
all right, cool.
I mean, that's usually that's
how
the name of the
soccer
team. Yeah, because
goes,
in
yeah.
like in the Premier League, you got Man City, right?
Man City.
Man City.
Manchester City. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
Man
Man U.
City, and then Man U for Manchester United.
Man
Oh, it's
United.
the sequel one.
The
Everyone
sequel.
thought it was just an
Yeah.
add-on periphery.
You pretty much
thing, but
pick
no.
the color team that you like, right? Do you like the blue team and the
Blue.
red
Yeah, I
team?
can
Go
name
blue.
like a lot more Premier League teams, and because what
Yeah.
Man U, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, West Ham. What's the one that Gary Whitta really loves?
Tottenham Hotspurs.
Tottenham Hotspurs. Yeah.
Do you think that's just because in FIFA you play as the best teams and it's usually the Premier League teams?
Probably, and then also I paid way more attention to like soccer
you go.
in middle school, and that was mainly Premier League soccer that we're paying attention
Like
to.
I force my friends to play MLS whenever we play FIFA just for fun. Then we play as the worst teams, and it sucks. You got to play as the
It's the
Premier
worst.
League teams.
When I play with Janet's always like, "Hey, let's play in the same league or whatever," and she'll like go over to like these random leagues that I didn't know existed. And I'm like, Janet,
yeah.
let's just pick the good teams.
Take
you
the
know?
good teams, Janet. Gosh darn it. Let's keep it going right now. We have some fun ones coming in. Of course, Joey writes in and says, so, Shoreditch,
Shoreditch Shawarma Boys. Shoreditch Shawarma Boys.
okay, are on their way to the U.S. in June. Any way to know when and where he's going to be doing a comedy set? I don't know who this is. The Swarma Boys. Look it up. We're going to Google it.
Yeah, I'm Googling it. I've not heard of this.
I mean, are they making
not finding
food
it.
or are they doing comedy?
They might have
So-
misspelled it.
I'm going to assume, reading this, that
Okay.
Joey, whoever this is one of the Shoreditch Swarma Boys,
Oh,
whatever they are.
snap. Okay.
And are coming to the U.S. and want to know when Nick is doing a comedy set. I'm making a lot of leaps there,
You're
but
making
I think,
a lot of leaps.
I think that's what they're saying.
That makes a lot
You
of sense.
have made a lot of leaps, Tim. Okay, okay. Okay, Swarmer Boys. If you're looking for Nick does comedy every single week. He's on the grind. Of course, you can find him on Friday nights where he hosts his own comedy showcase. You can catch that over down in the SoFi district.
Joey says I nailed it.
Okay. Well, Joey, Tim,
do better,
Tim
Joey.
stretched to get to
I got
that,
there.
Okay?
I got there.
I want you to know that. is
the
right.
answer is just follow Nick on Instagram.
Yes,
Like,
follow
he
Nick
always
on
promotes
Instagram.
where his
The Lost Church is one of his new shows that he's doing, but that's once a month, I believe.
Yeah.
And then, of course, every Friday he does his other show as well. So make sure to check that one out. Let's keep it going. Sergio writes in and says,
Sergio Ramos. the soccer player.
NYFC. Close on that one. Almost. It could have been a soccer player with that last name. NYFC just announced their new $780 million stadium. Let's look that up, the new stadium. Do you remember when
NYFC.
Philadelphia was going to, on the hype of Overwatch League right there, everybody was riding high on Overwatch League, and then they were like, we're going to build the biggest gamer stadium ever. Whatever happened with that project? Did we ever build that gamer stadium in Philadelphia?
Football stadium.
Ooh.
Like
Also,
what?
this mic
Oh,
is
like,
hot if you
thank
want to
you.
use this.
So like this is the outside of it. It's like a big cool modern looking like cubic space. And then
TV. Yeah,
from
yeah.
the top down,
See, looks good.
it looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Looks good. Pack about 17,000 in there instead of like 60 or 80, right? And you get a little more hype and fun in there, especially, crowds here in America don't really care for soccer.
That's
so
pretty
like
tight.
put a little less, more
yeah.
people feel if the vibe is better,
Totally
right?
get that.
The vibe is better.
Should we go? Are there soccer games that happen nearby? What, San Jose is probably the
San
closest?
Jose, yeah.
Let's go to a soccer game.
I hear it's really good. They have
a whole arena just for football.
They have a whole
crazy,
special
dude.
Where the
stadium.
earthquake play.
Why do we have a baseball game on the schedule? Let's change that to soccer.
You were the
No.
one with the baseball game,
But, like,
Blessing, I will
this.
fight you in the streets right now.
Forget
Shirts off.
how much Barrett loves baseball.
Danny writes in and says, I'm sure y'all will get a ton of Zelda questions, but is there a mechanic to repair weapons this time around? And are there permanent items, i.e. the hook shot?
This sounds like a question that I could answer on the stream that we're doing later today, but I'll answer it here.
Yeah. You're going to answer it multiple times.
Yeah. So weapon degradation works is exactly the same. There is the fuse mechanic where if you see an object in the world, or if you have an object in inventory, if you drop it, you can use the fuse ability and you can fuse any object to your weapon. And for a lot of the time, that will increase the durability of it. And so that's a way to kind of get more more usage out of a weapon, is to fuse it with something else, and then boom, it's renewed again. But I also I'm not confirmed this, and I want to talk to other reviewers to see what their experience is, or maybe just see what people say online. I swear to God, the weapons are less durable this time around. I swear to God, I'm doing 5 hits and them things are evaporating. And so if you hated weapon degradation, I got bad news for you. You better get to fusing.
That's wild.
You better get to fusing.
All right. Jordan writes in and says, Tim, this is for you. Which studio would you like to make a Power Rangers game? Not sure how much Bless and Mike know about Power Rangers, so this might be one for you, Tim.
Ooh, I would go with the Guardians of the Galaxy Eidos Montreal team.
Ooh.
Oh,
that's a really fun
Yeah,
one.
because I feel like but I appreciate that game, man. It's been coming up on my timeline a lot recently because of all the love going around for Guardians 3 right
people
now.
pushing that.
And it just reminded me, again, not a perfect game, not a game of the year, not a whatever, but I really, really loved that game. And the more I think about it, it's I loved it because of how well written the characters were. And some of the gameplay didn't hold up perfectly. It's not what we dreamed a Guardians game could be. But I do think that the narrative of it and the locations you went to and how it was all kind of paced out, I feel like that was such a high quality, and I feel like it would translate to Power Rangers really well, of them kind of getting deeper into some of the character dynamics between them and stories there.
Power Rangers?
Yeah, I was a big was it Wild Force? Was that the one?
Good for you.
I was a big Wild
Good
Force
for
kid.
you.
I fucking loved Wild Force.
Wild Force. Oh, that was a
Really?
Power Ranger
Yeah.
spin-off.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's cool.
It was
That's
a spin-off.
cool.
It was just a new season.
Yeah.
How they changed
exactly.
every single season.
Yeah, then there was Time Cops for that one time,
Time Force.
Yeah.
A lot of force going
a lot
on.
of
Wild
Force.
Force.
But yeah, the Wild one, and then I kind of liked Ninja Storm a little bit. They had one season that was Power Rangers PD.
SPD.
Yeah, that shit was
Space
weird.
Police Department.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but anyway, for studio, I'd go Rocksteady. I think that combat system would be so dope for a Power Rangers.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Rocksteady, come on.
Yeah.
Well,
let's prime Rocksteady. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
We'll find out. That's right. Let's keep it going.
Rocksteady nearly 10 years ago.
We got 2 more questions right here. D Cash writes in and says, I've literally watched TOTK number 3 trailer 50 times. Does the TOTK Tears of the Kingdom story do that trailer justice?
Yes, I think it does.
Good
Yeah.
answer.
It goes back to the conversation that we were having earlier about those moments that you view as, oh, this is an iconic Zelda moment right here, right? It is oh man, Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf being revealed as the 3 parts of the Triforce, whatever, from Ocarina of Time. You get those level of moments here that for me did give me chills and did get me hyped. So I'd say I think it lives up.
Like that. We're going to finish this one right here. Tundra Boy writes in and says, SF6, MK1, and Tekken 8. What sells/reviews best? Blessing.
Oh, that's easy.
Jr.
So for what sells best between, what was it, MK1, Street Fighter, and Tekken?
Yep.
MK,
Mortal
Street
Kombat,
Fighter,
baby.
Tekken.
Yeah, easy.
In that, it's very easily that is going to be the order.
Okay.
In terms of what reviews best, I'm going to say Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tekken. It's so hard to say because I'm such a Tekken person. Tekken might actually be more of my preferred fighting game than the others, but
Do you like the 3D space? Is that
I like the 3D space. I like the combo system. And yeah, I think it also comes back to nostalgia for me, where me and my friends just played so much Tekken, and that is, out of those 3 games, Tekken is the one I'm best at and I'm most confident in. So yeah, I just have a love for Tekken. But yeah, I think critically. Street Fighter because it is because Street Fighter because it's such the darling of fighting games. People fucking love Street Fighter. The only thing that I think could hold it back would be the World Tour mode if it doesn't hold up to people's expectations. But but below that, I think Mortal Kombat just has so much production value going into it, and it has NetherRealm. NetherRealm, like, they have their shit down. They've done this so much. They know what they're going for when it comes to fighting game mechanics and fighting game content. And then Tekken is going to review super well too, right? Because Tekken is a beloved fighting game franchise. But I think Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat just have that special thing they bring to the table that, I don't know, maybe Tekken can get this next time around, but it's just on a different tier of how people flock to MK and Street Fighter versus Tekken.
Tim, we're going to end today's post show with myself and both of you, lovely, incredible hosts, right here with one final question from the chat. They ask, what's Tim's go-to Starbucks order? And Tim, I know you got a basic bitch Starbucks order. I want you to also give us the secondary Starbucks order where you get in your Duffy and you get a little weird. That's what I want to know.
So my go-to is Trenta, unsweetened, iced coffee, black, no room for cream, no nothing. Just no nonsense, all right?
Okay.
And I get this, that's my daily. But when I'm feeling a little extra, I have it's a fork in the road type, choose your own adventure type path, depending on, is it a hot day or is it a cold day?
Yes, okay.
If it's a hot day, I'm going to have some fun drink is they have this dragon fruit refresher. It's a bright pink
I like that.
drink.
I like that.
Really like it. It can be a little sweet though, so I have to get it with water instead of lemonade, and that's my go-to. If it's cold, my hot drink that's like I'm gonna treat myself, just a venti vanilla latte, but I have to ask for just one pump of vanilla because these motherfuckers go crazy.
I love when they go crazy. I tell them, give me more.
Like, I think a venti vanilla latte standard is like 6 pumps.
I believe
of vanilla,
it's 6 pumps.
and I'm like, that is disgusting. So just give me the slightest hint of some sweetness.
Up that
but like,
10.
dude, a Trenta iced coffee, if you just ask for it not unsweetened, it is 7 pumps of sweetener. That is like this much sweetener. Oh my God.
I love that. I love that, Tim. All right, well, with that is going to end today's Kinda Funny Games Daily Post Show. Thank you all so much for supporting and joining us. Of course, don't forget, each and every day after Kinda Funny Games Daily, we bring you a fun post show where you can get more involved and ask these two incredible hosts different questions about gaming or just life, like the MLS and, of course, Starbucks orders. But we'll be back tomorrow to finish out the week. But right now, we're jumping into a really dope stream. If you're watching on Twitch, guess what? You can keep watching live. If you're over on YouTube, there will be a brand new YouTube link that I would love for you to go click on and jump into, because Bless is playing the first 30 minutes of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. It'll be a fun Q&A. He's reviewed it for us. He's given you that review score on the latest Kinda Funny Gamescast, so you can check that out. And most importantly, we're going to play the first 30 minutes. He'll answer all of your burning questions, and then we'll go over into the lab and play some games with the Jabroni boys. But until then, thanks for hanging. We'll see you in a minute.